Good day, my fellow Albertans. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's very important to Alberta, and I think to me and to our networking group. So, one of the topics I talk a lot about is the Dream 100, and I'm very passionate about building a community in Alberta for Alberta. So, this is made in Alberta by Albertans for Albertans. So, it's very Alberta focused. I get a lot of requests from other people saying, would you bend on that? Would you be willing to allow me in? My personal least favorite is, hey, I see you have a great community. Can I come in and sell them something they don't need? This is our community. So I just want you to know, consider me the big angry bouncer at the club. My job is to stand outside at the gate and make sure that only the best of the best people get in. And if you have a problem with somebody, you come to either myself, Robin, or Linda, and we'll help them find the door. Again, that's not being mean. This is about making sure everyone has fun, everyone plays nice, and everyone benefits. So these are the criteria. Consider them non negotiable. I would strongly encourage you to consider them non negotiable in your world, but I would also say create the criteria that work for you. Now, I've had a few people say, but you, Jeff, you're being mean. Jeff, this is arrogant. No, it's not. I genuinely care about the people in this group, and I also care about the people who don't belong in the group. And the way I see it, if you don't belong in the group, you're going to slow down the group. You're going to cause what I would say confusion and delay, and really, truly, you're going to struggle. So I'm going to do you the favor of saying, if you don't meet these criteria, please don't join because you will waste your time, energy, attention, and money. So we don't want you to do that, and we don't want you to waste ours either. So this is a kindness, the reason I'm filming this and recording this conversation. So the criteria are very simple. I will share them. I'll talk about each one in detail and then I'll recap. So the key here is Alberta based and you serve businesses in Alberta. That is non negotiable. Literally, it's in the title of the group, it's in everything we do. I'll talk about the details more. Now, you care deeply about your clients and community. Non negotiable, if you don't care, if you're just looking for transactions, not the space for you. Now, the third one, I get a lot of pushback on this because people say, I don't like LinkedIn or LinkedIn doesn't work. I beg to differ. I've been on LinkedIn as long as I can remember. I think I pretty much signed up around the time it came out. Um, Now, I've been more active and less active over time, but I've been on LinkedIn for a long time and I'm very active. Now, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, if you don't identify as a go giver, I'm going to give you a little clue. You can figure out how, but basically, you believe in the power of networking to serve others. So that's what go giver means to me. We'll get into more detail. Now, we talk about crazy things, we share ideas. We're always looking at how do we make the world a better place for Alberta based businesses. So you need to be open to new ideas. If you're not open to new ideas, that's going to bother you. And then last but not least, you need to add value. So let's get into some of the details, starting with Alberta based. Now, I thought this was pretty simple. I was debating, do I put a map up here and do I show people the boundaries? But really, truly, you need to know your Athabasca from your White Court. If you don't know where these places are, if you don't drive the streets of Alberta, please don't join the group. This is Alberta based. Now, in all fairness, if you're a new business and you're looking to move to Alberta, we might have a fit, but until you're here, I promise we can't do anything to help you, so please don't ask. Now, the other thing is people are very bothered by this. And for the record, I live in Alberta. I see a lot of Ontario plates. I see a lot of BC plates. I take offense to that. If you live in Alberta, you should pay taxes in Alberta. You should have your car insured in Alberta. You should be licensed in Alberta. So, my criteria, if you're a business and your mail, your postal code doesn't start with a T, I don't want to work with you. And really, truly, it's because if you don't care about Alberta, why should Alberta care about you? So ask not what Alberta can do for you, ask what you can do for Alberta. This is a point of pride for me. If you're in Saskatchewan, I applaud you. We're here in Alberta to support Albertans. So that's the big criteria. I will not bend on this. I get pushed back all day, every day. People say, oh, this will add some value. I can sell stuff to your people. No. So that's the first point. Now, the second one is caring deeply about your clients and community. And really, truly, there's two questions I like to ask. Number one is, do you focus on how to add value to your clients? The second one is, do you find ways to build your community? And here's the thing, if you don't know what your clients value, how do you stay in business? How do you succeed? And caring assumes or implies that you're asking them questions, you're getting to know them, their hopes, their fears, their concerns. This particular picture, they're made out of paper. I'm sure they're concerned they'll get crushed. But think about ways you can add value to your clients and build your community. And by the way, I personally believe those two things will lead to success in business no matter what. If you don't have those two things, I promise you're going to struggle. Now, we talked a little bit about LinkedIn, so I'm going to talk about, first of all, being active, and second of all, communication. So, active to me is that you're on LinkedIn regularly, whether that's daily or weekly, preferably daily. I don't expect you to be on LinkedIn every waking moment, but you should be checking in at least once a day to see who's communicated with you, what they've shared with you, and how they can reach you. And the other thing is, be really clear on how you like to communicate. People love sharing messages with me. I hate it. There's only certain times and places I can check them. Whereas if you send me a text message, a direct message on LinkedIn, I can check it anytime, anywhere. So if you want to communicate with me, that's how to do it, by direct message or in the group. If it's, I like to say, praise publicly, criticize privately. If you like something in the group, share it with the group publicly. If you don't like something in the group, send me, Robin, or Linda a message and we'll see if we can fix it. And by the way, if you're the problem, we're going to help you find a solution, which is a new place to hang out, not our group. So you need to be active on LinkedIn. This is the whole point of what we do. This is where we put all of our time, energy, and attention. This is where we share our content. This is where we do our introductions. This is where we list our events. And by the way, if you ever find it in your brain to say, Jeff, I don't know where the link is. I don't know where to find the Zoom event. I don't know how to connect with somebody. Could you please? The answer is no. This is November. The answer is always go to our LinkedIn group. Everything you need is there. We make our introductions there. We share our Zoom links there. We share content there. Everything is in the group. If you need to be spoon fed, not a good place to be, because Jeff does not do spoon feeding. It annoys me. I didn't do it with my kids. I taught them how to feed themselves. I expect you to do the same. Now, go givers, this is the fundamental metric for me. I will not do business with somebody if I do not believe they are a go giver. Now, by that, I'm not saying they have to have read the book. I have to see from them that they value their network, they love helping people, and they give as much as they receive. And by the way, if you want my attention, the easiest way to do that is to give to someone in my community. Now, giving doesn't have to be, you handed them a client, but if you know somebody in their network that they could benefit from knowing and you connect them, I will see that. My network will tell me that. I'll get feedback. So if you're not a go giver, if you're showing up, and by the way, I hate people who show up, don't do anything in the group ever until they have a thing to sell or a quota to meet or a deadline to meet. And then they say, hey, everybody, I sell widgets. Who wants one? So do not ever do that in the group. Show up in the group and say, hey, everyone, here's the kind of people I know. How can I help you? I promise you, by giving and only by giving, you will receive from me and my network. So if you haven't read the book The Go-Giver by Bob Burg and John David Mann, it is a really short read. It's a business parable. It takes about an hour, and it really, really identifies my philosophy on networking. When I read it, I realized that's me. And so I'm going to ask you, how do you apply that go-giver philosophy in your world? If you're not a go-giver, please don't try to pretend you are. We will know. Trust me. All right. Ideas. I love them. Now, the thing about ideas is they are just air. If you have an idea and you don't actually do anything with it, the world is not better for it. The world doesn't need more ideas. The world needs more great ideas that are implemented. So, first thing I like to ask people, I'm a big fan of Dan Sullivan, Who Not How. So, my first question is, who do you generate new ideas with? A lot of people have this scarcity mindset. They want to lock themselves in a dark room and, I don't know, come up with ideas on their own. My personal opinion is I don't care who owns the idea. What I love is the process of building it with others because it becomes better for that feedback. And by the way, if you're building a business in isolation, you're doomed. You don't know what the market's doing. You don't know what your customers are doing. You don't know what your competitors are doing. I personally think everything in my world is better with feedback. And I would also ask, who do you get to act on your ideas? Because you can't always be everything. You can't be a solopreneur trying to build a multi-million dollar company without starting to build a team. So short run, maybe you need a fractional person, maybe you need an outsourced person. Over time, how do you build your team? And this is where we have fun because we're Alberta based. If we support businesses in Alberta, that supports jobs in Alberta, which builds taxes in Alberta, which brings more roads and bridges and infrastructure and hospitals and schools. So ideas are the lifeblood of an economy. Ideas executed well are the lifeblood of an economy. Sorry, let me restate that. Now, the final criteria is adding value. And value, I believe, is the most misused word because people don't know the difference between a price, a cost, and a value. Value is really about how you increase someone in some way through your efforts. So value might be, maybe somebody's down, they need a smile. A smile might add to some value to them. Maybe they have a flat tire, they're looking for somebody to help them. Again, value is very, very personal and very relative. So how do you personally define the value you bring to the world, and how do your clients define value? Little spoiler alert, if you're struggling in business, it's almost always because you're focusing on what you're getting, your price, your cost, what you're getting and paying out. It's usually not about looking at your client and saying, how do I add value to them? So if you want to have a massive impact on your business today, sit down with your top 5 favorite clients and ask them about what they value, why they work with you, how you could add value to their lives. Their answers might surprise you. And spoiler alert, it's almost always more simple than you think. So those are my criteria. Let's just recap here. So if somebody checks all those boxes, welcome them to the group. We're going to show you ways to invite them to the group. And again, this is a go-giver community. So I want you to understand, when you invite great people to the group, we all win. This is not my group. This is not Robin's group. This is not Linda's group. It's our group. And over time, the beautiful thing about this group, it will grow. People aren't paying to be part of it. They're playing along. Participation is free because we want great people in here. We don't want somebody who fits the criteria and maybe they're just starting out. We don't want to exclude them because we don't know what they'll do in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. So this is our criteria, non-negotiable. I hope you understand why we put this fence around our community. And for those of you who are part of the community, I just want you to know that we value you. We thank you for being part of it, and we look forward to getting to know you better.